Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Wazam. Hot 702.5. It is your girl, your host, your favorite host of Laugh Therapy Thursdays, Joe King. That is King Me Comedy on all social media platforms. Y'all already know what it is. And of course, I've got my beautiful co-host with me,
JD, aka Sunshine. How y'all doing today?
Y'all know we ain't got no sound effects. We always come on here and tell y'all we gonna bring them, and we do not. But anywho, today's subject, as you guys know, I'm excited every week for our show, but today's subject I'm super excited about. We are talking Black love in media versus in real fucking life, y'all. Yeah, I said it. Versus in real life. And when I say in media, we're not just talking television. We are talking social media, radio, all of the things, because we grew up with Black love being portrayed on TV, right, in our TV shows and things like that. But the kids of today have it more so in social media, like especially with all of the access to their tablets and YouTube and stuff like that. So they're looking at people like Krishan and Blueface and
oh Lord,
and yeah,
please don't let that be your
and things like that. A lot of these model chicks, Instagram models, messing with athletes, and they're looking at that more so than they did like Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv, like us.
I was just about to say, yeah, social media changes the game.
Yeah,
it changes the game.
So we're gonna definitely compare what being in the dating scene now, or our experiences with being in the dating scene versus what we expected, with what we grew up with thinking Black love looked like, what we grew up thinking Black men were supposed to, look like in a relationship, what a healthy relationship looked like, things of those natures. And of course, joining us today, I'm super duper excited. We have the myth, the legend. I'm kidding. You guys have seen her here with me when Baby Love was not on the show. You were doing big things. What were you doing last time? And I had E on here. Was it the conference?
It was the conference. Because I was on the show during the conference.
I don't know, but she was doing big things because she does big things too. And I had E. Carice, the owner of the radio station, the big boss lady, on here with me to talk subject. So she will be joining us today. In a bit. Do you have you gonna shout out your social medias, Miss E? We'll have her do that at the end. But yeah, so we can go ahead and get started. The first question I have for y'all. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
y'all. First question I have for you is, how accurately do you think Black love is portrayed on television compared to real life experiences?
So we just keeping this one at TV? We're not keeping it at media?
You can do media.
I would say now, with the social media component, it's a little bit more realness in it. So when Will and Jada, they're revealing their truths, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, keep us out the conversation, keep us out the group chat. Y'all mad that y'all hearing the realness of their relationship, but y'all like the fakeness of some of the other social media influencers and being portrayed in certain ways. Y'all don't want to know the truth. And I feel like people like Will and Jada, they showing the truth.
I think that's an interesting way to think about it. For me, I didn't want to necessarily be taken out of the group chat because it was too real. I wanted the group chat as a whole to just go away. It's not that I didn't want to be in a business. It's that I didn't feel like there were other couples of other races doing that. And I felt like it just made us look like one of our iconic relationships, and one of the people that we thought was amazing was just shitting. Yeah, that we had put up here, and they were just like, oh, by the way, we both been fucking other people. Like, wait, hey, wait a minute. You know? And they're like, oh yeah, I also fucked my son's best friend. Like, wait. And then they're like, oh yeah, I also, you know, was completely dismissive of my children and my wife's emotions and of blah, 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 blah. I had some narcissistic tendencies, and I didn't want to see Will like that. You know, like, he's my favorite actor ever.
But he said it because he's working on it.
Yeah, and I get that. And but work on that with the people that love you and care about you. We didn't need to know that. It's just how I felt coming into it, because and it was selfish of me because I had him on such a pedestal. And that was another reason why, with me pursuing the career that I'm pursuing, I was like, y'all don't put me on a pedestal. Remember me right now, okay? Because this going to be who I am. You feel me? In the future, I'm just going to have a whole bunch of money.
So you're not going to change it all?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, remember that I am human, so that the young girls that are watching me and that are going to be inspired, like I was inspired by Monique, like I was inspired by, you know, Gabrielle Union, like I was inspired seeing Regina King and seeing all those people. If you're going to be inspired by me, I love that. If you're going to admire me, I love that. But as soon as you put me on such a pedestal that I can no longer be human and make mistakes, you're putting both of us at a disservice, because I'm going to disappoint you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I wanted to be taken out of the group chat of Jada and Will, because I was just like, you put yourself now in a position to where I'm disappointed.
So you...
it's not that I wanted them to lie to me. I was lying to me. I was okay with me lying to me. I just didn't need them to ruin the image that I had painted. And they're not responsible for the image of themselves that I painted, right? However, I liked the image that I had painted. I don't like the one they painted.
I appreciated it because it was real, and it let everyone know that the realness of long relationships. If you want a long relationship, I'm not saying you're going to be fucking other people on purpose. But
it could happen.
Yeah, right? Yeah. If that's the rules that y'all have in your relationship. But I wanted everybody to see the realness of what a 30-year relationship looks like, because everybody thinks it's all rainbows and butterflies.
But for some people, it is rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes, like, listen, I'm telling you, like, watching my grandparents' relationship, I'm like, dude, like, and then knowing afterwards that all my, like, me, my sister, all of my aunts, my mom, we were looking for that relationship, and that shit did not exist. So I think that there are people who have those relationships, and it's just easy peasy. Like, they never argued. They talked about it. They never argued. They, like, literally, they woke up every morning, had a conversation about things, and it was just chill. Like, it was easy peasy. So we expect for that to be what it is. But the reality is, like, every day I'm a different person. We're growing into something else every single day. And so is our relationship.
So how accurately do you think Black love is portrayed on television or in media compared to real life experiences?
I mean, like, if we're talking about any movies in particular, like, I'm
just
trying to think.
Media. Yeah, so I was like, just in your experience. In my because everybody watches different Black TV. You might
name some Black TV.
Recent, I would say Blackish.
I thought about that.
Yeah. Blackish.
Okay, I think Blackish is probably a very realistic portrayal of Black film, because they did have that time where they was about to get a divorce.
Yeah, they were separated for a whole season.
But they, like, worked it out.
Yes.
Like, they took the time to go to therapy and process through everything that was happening.
And it was a bunch of rough shit. It was some dark days. I felt like I was going through it with them, because I had watched Blackish from the beginning. I was like, y'all got to get back together.
Yeah, it was. So I don't know. I think I'm trying to think of some other movies I've been watching that could have been like an example. I know there was like a love story I just watched. I can't think of it though. I don't know. It'll come to me. But I just think that this is, it just depends. I know that I'm very transparent about relationships and dating. Like, if somebody asks me something, I'm going to tell them, like, the truth, And I mean, I guess I would say you guys are essentially in media. So how is relationship in media for you?
I think for us... I think because our relationship was formed on in media. I feel like what was important to me was that my following felt that they were included, but also we still had a sense of privacy. And I think that kind of shook her a little bit when we first got together, because she was like, you're telling them too much. And I was like, no. What I tell them is stuff we've already worked through. Like, I wouldn't bring it to TikTok or bring it to social media until after we had already solved it, so that it couldn't trigger anything. This is already good. We fixed it. And then I would bring it and be like, she pissed me off, y'all, because blah, blah, blah. And she'd be like, you're letting people in. No. You know, I was like, they feel like they've been invited into some new shit. This is a week old, situation.
That's very true.
But isn't that like black for like and when I say black, isn't that black for like, no, we keep our business in the house, like, or we don't want our business in the streets?
Kind of, yeah. And I agree with that. But then again, like I just said, when it came to Will and Jada, I agreed with keeping them in the pedestal of
I really adored how they were transparent.
Yes.
Because they was going through it in real time. Yes. But we just didn't know they were going through it in real time.
But I liked not knowing. For me, I liked not knowing, just with that couple in particular. Like when B and Jay-Z came out and she admitted that he cheated on her, even though we knew that was, very much happening. When she admitted that he cheated on her, everybody was like, no, this is just for media, or this is just for the album. And I was like, nah, he had whole children.
I didn't know that.
Well, I thought he had a. Do you mind turning my mic down, just a pinch? But
Sure.
but I thought that he had he already had a child.
He did.
But I didn't know he had another child during their marriage. Is that what you're implying?
Allegedly.
Beyonce, because listen, she said it. I didn't know. I'm trying to sue the station.
Allegedly, he has another son out there that he's not.
We gotta watch what we say, huh?
Yeah, allegedly.
B and J, we love you.
We do. Absolutely
adore.
I'm just going off the media. Right, that's what
they said.
That's what they said. That's what they said.
Please look at Joe King.
Allegedly, you're right.
Okay.
But when it came out that he was unfaithful in the relationship, and when they were opening up about that was one that I was able to be like, okay, with her opening up and showing her side of it, because everybody put her on this pedestal of like the baddest, and she would never get played like that. She would never get cheated on. She would never blah blah blah. And I was like, niggas gonna nigga.
But she probably cheated too.
And I agree.
See, that's the thing. That's what I want to hear.
Bodyguard. Everybody thinks it's the bodyguard.
I think the bodyguard. His ethics are. I think his moral. I just think that his moral ethics are just like intact, and he ain't with it.
Okay.
It is Beyonce.
And so you think she cheated too?
After
or before?
I mean, somebody.
I think she cheated back.
There we have it.
I think she cheated back. I'll say that. I don't know if she did. Allegedly, whatever you gotta say, but I think she cheated back. Because she's a Virgo. She got him back somehow, some way.
But then again, I don't know, because like, I think that it's sometimes in relationships, like you have to. Last year, I had to learn how to give grace, because I am not a grace giver, child. Okay, and I think that you have to allow people to make mistakes. Now, the way that the album went for Beyonce, it sounded like he made a whole lot of mistakes over and over and over and over and over
Lemonade?
for years.
You talking about Lemonade?
A bunch of them. And that should have won Album of the Year, but whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not even going to get into that.
Yeah. Like, Renaissance is a dope album, but Lemonade should have won Album of the Year, bro.
But Jay-Z said what he said.
He did. He stood on it 10 toes down.
He was like, hey, y'all playing with my wife.
But I feel like in certain aspects it's more accurate now than it was for us growing up, because we had like Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv, and that was what I thought real black love.
And that's what I saw. That's what I had in real life.
That's what I compared. So I had my relationships.
I had what was Bill Cosby's name in the
Cliff
Huxtable,
Cliff
and Claire. That was definitely what I had as a representation. And it sucks now, because you're like, oh, there is no more of that person. But at the same time, I don't know. I kind of have that person now. Like it's kind of, but then too, you have to get to a point where you're like, you got to heal yourself, and True. Now I gotta figure out what the shit that I gotta heal from, even though I'm perfect. And people have to.
I heard that.
And then you commit to each other, and you're like,
energy.
Yeah. And then I'm like, dude, this dude's like legit like my grandfather. Like it's just, I don't know. I think you can find that person, but you also have to find you, and then you have to find your own faults. You have to give grace.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I don't think a lot of people understand that lesson until they are until they have to ask for grace, unless that was something that they were shown previously. Because a lot of people is like, "Oh, you done fucked up. That's it.
That's me."
But until you are asking for the grace, you don't realize that. Oh shit, I need to give it out too.
Yeah,
that was a lesson that
I'm
I
not
had to
a
learn
grace
myself.
giver, but then too, you have to give yourself grace.
Yeah,
and I think that was probably the point that allowed me to move forward. Because I'm like, I gotta give myself grace, because am I being an ass? Am I not? In the situation where I am allowing people to make bad decisions. I mean, have I made bad decisions? Like, I'm going through this whole thing. So I think, and we talk about Will and Jada, and I did read Will's book. Child,
it's a good book.
It's very good.
Okay,
actually,
I'm gonna have to read
listen
that.
to the audiobook. You can read the book. You take that one with you.
Yes.
But I have it here. But I also have Jada's book, which I'm reading next. But Will's book, the audiobook, is a little bit more animated, and then he sings some of his songs, in it. So definitely recommend that. Okay. But he talks about how he was ass, and how he was controlling, conceited. He just was not a good guy. And up until he and Jada split. So it wasn't like it was news.
And I was like, I didn't ask for that. That was me. 'Cause, I love Will Smith. Like, I love Will Smith so much. I was like, I didn't ask for that. Like, let you be who you were in my doggone head, sir, and go to therapy.
So you just wanted to keep him.
I did. I wanted to keep him on that pedestal,
I think that's unfair of us, because I think that we probably do that to each other. We're like, we expect for this person to be this way, and they should always react this way, and not have any,
he could do no wrong.
Bad responses.
He could do no wrong in my head. And then I read some snippets, and then I started paying attention to some of his mannerisms and some of the things that he would say and things like that. And it reminded me so much of my ex-husband, and it just started to disappoint me. And I was like, I don't have to do this. I can keep him as Willard in my head.
Not Willard.
Yes. I can keep him right there, and I ain't got to read nothing else. And then she came out with that damn red table, and I was like, it's ruined. Like, why did you do that?
I just wonder why everybody was so mad at they got so mad at Jada. And Will had already spilled his tea, first of all.
They got so mad
at her for living her truth out loud. I do not like that.
People do to black women all
wait,
of the time.
That brings us to the next question.
All of the time.
What are some common stereotypes about black love perpetuated by television or celebrities or media?
Probably that they yell and scream at each other all the time. I'm not a yeller or a screamer.
I'm not an arguer at all.
Don't raise your voice at me.
Very much that.
I didn't have people at my house when I was a kid yelling at me, so don't do that.
I thought about the scandal and How to Get Away with Murder days, and how when it is a black powerful woman on TV, she's single, or she's sleeping with somebody's man, or stuff like that. How that's perpetuated on TV. Like, she can't have a strong husband by her side, if that makes sense.
I agree. I was also thinking...
Go ahead.
I was also thinking about how the women end up taking on the leader, the unsubmissive, or they end up taking on the husband who's just always going through it, always on a hard time, and it ends up landing on her back, and she's just strutting along beside him or whatnot. Like, I was like, I don't feel like, movie. Yeah, I was like, I don't feel like we should just be signing up to struggle like that. And then men expect us to be that woman, and you don't know how to hold me down, nigga. You don't know how to hold you down. Like, I was like, I didn't sign up for that. It's not my job to be that. So if you go through something while we're together, like you had your stuff together and life happens, things happen and things fall apart, then yes, of course, it's my job to support you. Let's figure this out. Let's, blah, 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 blah. But if you're coming to me telling me you want to pursue me and you don't even have your shit together, your life together, I don't feel like I should have to sign up for you. Like, that's crazy to me. And I feel like the stereotypes on TV is like women sign up for that struggle and we just ride it out. And then eventually he gets his shit together. And I don't think that has to be our story.
I don't think that it has to be our story, but is it? Sometimes?
It is sometimes, but there are way more movies that show that narrative than there are of them showing us both having our stuff together, like a Blackish or like a Bill Cosby show or things like that, where we have our shit together.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there definitely are some things that are perpetuated in media that are true, right?
Very much so.
But like me personally, I've never experienced like having to like make him great. Right. Like I'm not tolerating it. Probably that's probably why. Like you're saying, that like part. I don't have to sign up for that.
Yeah,
I didn't sign up for that.
They make it seem like we're some type of way because we don't want to sign up for that. And I'm like, I'll be that. Like you can look at me some type of way, but I'm not getting ready to sign up for Jamal on the bus. I'm not doing that.
No, we're good.
You feel me? Like no,
I think that there's always a level of growth, and I happen to meet somebody who is an entrepreneur and who owns businesses like me, so it's kind of easy to kind of navigate
and
that.
Connect.
And then too, I told him, I think it might have been our first date, I told him, I was like, hey, you don't want your rich wife to pay all the bills because she will become your husband.
Ooh. Wait,
that was that.
So if y'all don't know E's background, how did you say yes to go on a date with him?
Oh, child. Goodness. So this is what's interesting. 2020, I don't know why, I just stopped liking chicks. Wow. Random. I just didn't have the opportunity to meet someone and have that connection.
We was in the house.
We were in the house, right? But I can engage in conversations with people. And then too, I had already been dating people. Mm-hmm. But I just was like, I'm good, right? So I was like, I'm just go stay in the house and we'll, work on whatever I need to work on with business. And I actually started dating this other guy. And he was very nice, and we were just dating, like going on dates here and there. It went on. I went to Cancun. He hit me up and was like, hey, will you come see me at my show when you come back? And I was like, all right, cool. And I went. That's how I started dating dudes. It was just random. I was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna go. And I went, and then so we started sporadically dating, and then but we weren't committed. So then I started dating. I was somebody slid in my DM, right? And was like, oh, you look beautiful, whatever. And I was like, oh, thank you. And eventually, he asked me on a date. And I realized afterwards, I said yes. And then afterwards, I realized, I was like, oh, this dude owns funeral homes. I was like, he gonna smell like embalming fluid. I can't.
You had all these preconceived notions.
I canceled the date like a day or two before the day, right? I was like, yeah, I can't do it. I was like, you know what? Something suddenly came up, right? I was like, I'm not gonna be able to make it. A couple months later, my aunt passed away. I had to call him for some information, So I told him, hey, can you call me? This is my number. Can you call me and give me the information? So now he has my number, right? So then after everything happened, he's like, oh, he's checking in. He's like, hey, I just want to check in, see how your family doing and all that. And then he brought it up again, like later on, like, hey, we still need to go on that date. And I was like, dang.
But I'm grieving.
Right, but he waited though. This is a couple months play. Okay, this wasn't just
he was strategic.
Patient.
Yes, this is a couple months play. So he asked me to go on a date, and I accepted. That morning, I went on a date with the other dude. We went to go get a massage, and we went to lunch. Right, I had to push my date back with him because I was gonna be late to his lunch date. And anyway, I got there. But prior to the week prior, we had just been chatting. Like, he asked me stuff that I like, and we, just texting each other, just, trying to get to know each other. I get to the date. This dude has a gift bag. It has 2 candles that smell like my favorite places to visit, a journal, my favorite wine, my favorite flower. Aww. I was like,
he did his research.
I said, this nigga trying to get married, child. I knew it that day. I never went on a date with the other guy again.
Oh,
snap. It was just like, and we just talked for like hours. And I was like, this is kind of. So now, anyway, he's my husband now. But now he'll be like, you're delivered. I'm like, no, sir.
Oh man.
But it's interesting. But I think that I had to get to a point though with anyone dating anyone. I was like at a point where I was like, I wasn't open to dating. I wasn't open to like being okay with like being like, oh, okay, I'll be in a relationship with this person. No, we just hanging out. We just kicking it. So and that's a lot of things that we've been saying on social media. Like people just hanging out. No one's in a committed relationship. Nobody's getting married. It was just we hanging out. And that's what it was until I was like, oh, this dude right here. You
done broke me down.
And something else. So yeah, that's that.
Oh, for those of y'all out there looking for love.
I think that it's just about like being open. Like when you get to the point where you're just like, okay, I'm going to receive this. Because I think a lot of times we don't. So
that's good advice, y'all.
That's real.
How did y'all become open to dating each other?
Well, I think
conversations.
Yeah,
we talked for like 14 hours.
She knew she was gay.
Oh yeah, I forgot you.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the fuck was going on with my mind and body. I was like, what?
So had you been with another woman before?
I had kissed one before.
Okay,
but
to not like openly in a relationship,
right? And
that's interesting too, because you go through all of these other thoughts, especially like if you're raised like in church or anything like that. You go through these thoughts like, am I supposed to like this person like that? Like, is this feeling real? Like, you go through all of these thoughts, and you're like, dude, is this the right thing? And what's my family gonna say? And it's just real, real things that you go through. So how'd you get past that?
Well, I'm kind of.
You watch the L Word?
No.
She had to do none of that
I'm
stuff
the
we
person,
had to go through.
Yeah, I really didn't. I'm the person in my family that kind of just pioneer shit. They always joke and say I'm the one who did whatever the fuck I wanted to do. So I knew that at the end of the day, no matter who I brought home, as long as I was treated right, my family was going to ride with it. So, like, that wasn't a fear of mine. The only person I wanted to speak to was my baby sister, because I influence her a lot. She looks up to me, and I had been gone for a while, traveling, doing the military and whatnot. I didn't want to, now that I'm home and doing all of this, and then I come home with a girlfriend, for her to be confused, So she was the only person that I, like, had a real, like, blown out conversation about me possibly liking a female. Like, how does that feel to her, and what does that, mean or whatnot? And she surprised me. She was like, I mean, does she make you happy? And she was like, is it that light-skinned girl with the dreads on your TikTok? And I was like, you're on my TikTok? Like, what the fuck? I didn't even know my sister followed me. So she was like, oh yeah. She was like, she's my favorite. I like her. And then I had to make sure she was talking about the right one, because there were two girls who were on my TikTok that were light-skinned with dreads. And I was, so I had to make sure she was talking about the right one. And she was. So she already knew who she was and already liked her. So they were already... My family was already kind of like gung-ho, whatever, if you're as happy as you appear to be. Yeah. So I didn't have to go through the thoughts as far as being raised in the church and whatnot.
I think I had more of the thoughts than dealing with my family. My family was like, whatever. But,
exactly.
And I was like 26 and I having a conversation with my grandmother. And she was like, we were watching Yes to the Dress, I swear to God. We were watching Yes to the Dress. It was two ladies on there. She was like, why would they want to get married? I said, why can't they get married? She was like, are you a lesbian? I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I have a girlfriend, but that was that.
Yeah.
So how did you even penetrate that relationship?
You mean with her?
Yeah.
I saw her going through her journey of trying to.
Oh, you slid in the DM?
No, I slid in as a friend.
No, you slid in a DM.
As a friend.
That's what. No, ask my husband. Hold on. Ask my husband. He was trying to be a consoling friend.
Hold on. This is okay. I'm gonna sound real black. What had happened was she was going through her journey of discovering her attraction to women, so she had a lot of questions.
And you had all the answers. Don't try to do me.
Don't do me. You know how TikTok. You know how TikTok works, right?
I do not freaking know how to use.
So she was basically duetting all all of my videos.
Which she would ask, because she asked questions.
She would duet my video so that she knows I would get the notification.
JD, why are you trying to act like you? Don't be trying.
I was just trying to educate. I was just trying to educate. So then I felt like we was friends, because we was going back and forth.
And what ended up happening
is we never met or anything like that. We was going back and forth with the duets and the responses.
Oh, of course you were.
So what ended up happening is my followers started being childish, which is what caused more flirting, because they already started calling her my girl before we even really started dating. She was just answering questions. They're like, y'all would actually be cute together. Where's JD? Like, they just started asking me stuff on my lives and in my comments and stuff like that. Where is she? Like, oh my God, y'all would be cute together. And it turned out we were both in Texas. So
JD knew what she was doing. Don't play us.
But we had a connection. The first time we talked
with somebody
we talked for like 14 hours.
We did.
We talked for like 14 hours.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
It was like some high school.
Why you doing me like that, E?
Oh man.
Boy.
But yeah, that's how that came to be. And we didn't actually like officially get together for several months though, after we had started having conversations on the phone. But yeah, that's how that went. In what ways do you think media representations of Black love impact real life dating dynamics within the Black community?
I think that right now it's rapid that there's toxic relationships on, because that's all we see on social media. That's what we see on these love and hip hop shows or any of the reality shows. Like, it's all toxic. Like, there's no great relationship. I mean, maybe a couple of shows that probably nobody watches but me. All Rise. Do you ever watch that?
We watched it.
You know, she has a good, husband and whatever. But I think that that's all we see when we turn on social media, we turn on the TV. It's like all this toxic behavior. And I think that people try to replicate that behavior, and it's weird.
And
it's like, why do you want to do that?
Yeah, I think it's exhausting.
I think it's a duality though, because you have one section of the internet that's that, but then you also have another section of the internet where it's not showing the relationships, but showing people showing how to heal yourself and calling out narcissistic behaviors and toxic behaviors. You have that other side of the internet that's trying to do that as well, which is not as popular as the clickbait,
But is that Black love, or aren't those usually single people that are talking about healing yourself and getting your stuff together?
Well, the pages that I follow is usually they're couples.
Oh, okay. Most of the ones that I follow, them be single as fuck.
And the guys too. The guys be super single and gay. And the zest is on an all-time high.
Sassy.
Okay.
But I would agree with that. I also think the media makes people think that money is power in the relationship. And I don't think that everybody can be moved or controlled by money.
But do you think that it's that money isn't power, or that is not?
I think that using it as a power dynamic in a relationship. For example, people want a relationship. We're celebrating Carisha for her getting her sugar baby allowance from Diddy or whatnot, right? Like, oh yeah, he's taking care of her, giving her $500,000 a month or whatever, boopity boopity boop. And you don't know what comes with that, with getting $500,000 a month, but that was the goal. Girls were talking about. I mean, you know now, but you didn't know at the time.
But I'm saying, but I would say, like, for me, like, I'm not paying any bills at home. Right, but I don't have a problem with doing the line. But it's a natural behavior. I think that people have a different expectation. They're saying, like, okay, if this person, gives you money and takes care of you, that you have to do these things. But when you're in like a true loving relationship, it's just natural behavior. It's like, and then
I also feel like men think that if they. Well, first of all, it's the broke men. Broke men.
Let's talk about that.
Let's go there. It's the broke men who try and accuse women of only wanting money, and you only think that she only wants money because it's one of the only things you ain't fucking got. Like, let's highlight that. The only people who really think about you wanting money or desiring money are people who can't give you that. I feel like people who really do have it like that don't mind making sure that the fucking bills are paid. They would have needed to be paid regardless. You feel me? However, I also feel like if a woman, it's automatically assumed that if a woman can pay her bills herself, if she can afford her bills herself or whatever, then she's not going to respect a husband that comes in. And I don't think that that's necessarily true either. That's definitely
not the truth.
Exactly. I don't think that that's true either, but that's how it's portrayed.
It's definitely not the truth, but I think that people handle things differently. But like I told y'all, I said on the first date, like there's no way I am already used to being in control of everything, paying for everything. I'm used to, being the alpha in my situation. And then too, dating another woman gives it a whole different dynamic of like who's the breadwinner here, okay? And who's gonna take care of this, or we use 50-50, and then like I'm not a 50-50 type of person. I've had a lot of money for a long time. I'm not about to 50-50 you. So we go figure it out. Either I'll be the sugar mama, or I'll be the whatever, and we just move on. But I think that people have to understand like what that looks like for them, and then too, not have unrealistic expectations of people who ain't got it. Because I think that happens.
Yeah, I agree. If your boyfriend is a fucking newspaper teller, he over here throwing papers at people, he's not getting ready to buy you no Porsche, sis. We need you to get a little bit more realistic.
He might have some in the bank. We don't know, child.
He might just be throwing papers for fun.
Right. He's saving up his nickels. Ain't nobody.
I don't even know. How much does that even make? I wonder.
I have no idea. It's just Paperboy is what I could think of.
Denise White Brinson said, "Preach. I just let go of a scrub."
Yeah, I think that when you get to a certain age as well, when you get to a certain level in age in your life, there are certain things that you just won't tolerate any longer. I wouldn't tolerate dating no broke old dude. Like, I'm not. What am I going to do with that? Like, unless I'm going to say, okay, I'm gonna take care of him or her, and that's just what it is. But otherwise, at this point, I'm like, nah, because I want a certain dynamic of my relationship. And there's some things I don't even have to say. I don't have to.
He just does it.
Yeah, it's just I don't have to like have that extra dialogue. It's just what it is. If I needed something, and maybe let's say I didn't have it or something, I know that I could always go to him and I could get it, or we could or I'll pull it out of our account. Like it's not a thing. It's not even like a conversation that has to be had.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
I do. You want to ask the next question?
All right. What are some challenges specific to dating within the Black community that are often overlooked in mainstream media?
Mental health. Brothers, go to therapy, bro. Go to therapy. Don't just get a podcast mic and start spewing shit.
Sisters too.
Word vomiting.
Go to therapy, bro. I feel like that needs to be talked about more on your podcast while you out here spewing and showing us that you're a disgusting human being. You could just go to therapy.
How much of that do you think is them trying to be clickbaitish and just saying wild and outlandish shit just to get views? Or do you
I'm
think
gonna say that
all of it's truly how they feel?
I think that like 70% of
yeah,
that shit is what
70,
they really
30,
think.
And 70 is the day they just return. I can't say that word.
They're super slow
They
out here.
slow. They ride the little bus, dropped them off at the podcast studio.
Yeah, man.
That's just what it is. And then too, but I do think it's a lot of things that people do for clickbait. But I think usually the guys who are on there talking about relationships, I'm telling you, the zest is so high. I'll be like,
I just think there's a lot of black men that do not like women.
Yeah. You don't like us.
Because all of your actions and all of your thoughts show me that you don't like women.
Or you think we're beneath you in some type of way. We're something to be possessed. We're something to have ownership over or control over. And I'm not that. You're going to be disappointed every time. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and I guess he got a little salty, and he just straight up asked, he was like, so the Bible says that a man is supposed to lead and something. And then he was like, so are you saying the Bible's wrong? And I looked him square in his face and said, yeah. And he like turned, like he didn't know what to say to that. And I was just like, the Bible was written by men, bro. It wasn't written by God. It was written by men who perceived whatever it is that they perceived, and then chose to write their story. I guarantee you, if y'all would have went to Rahab and had her write her own fucking story, it would have sounded different. If you would have went to Jezebel and had her tell her side of the story, it would have been different.
Or Mary Magdalene.
Delilah. If you'd have went to any of the women in the Bible and asked for their version of the same story, I guarantee you it would have been different. If you would have asked them what their conversations with God or with spirit was, their conversations would have been different. The entire book is written by men, for other men to follow. So yes, I do think that certain aspects of the Bible are outdated and wrong. And one of those is that you're supposed to lead me just because you have a penis. I very well may be a better leader than you. I do believe that I am capable.
But I think I think the leading thing is it's up to how you how you interpret that.
I agree.
Like, I trust my husband to make good decisions, right? And he trusts me to make good decisions. In the event that there's something like that, maybe he would be struggling making a decision on something that he's a leader enough to come to me and say, hey, babe, what do you think about this? And vice versa. So I think that leadership will come in different ways, but I think that what men try to interpret, what men often try to interpret from the Bible, saying leaders
is that God left y'all in charge, and He didn't. He did not. God did not leave y'all in charge.
We can have a whole conversation about the Bible because
I think it's specific to every relationship. Whatever works for your shit should be for your shit. I don't think there's a blanket statement that we can make for every relationship, and this is how it should go. Whatever works for y'all if it is actively working. That's how I feel about it. But
Denise said he said he'd go 50-50 on the bills and then conveniently dispersed. She says he started a fight every first of the month. So after the 3 months of him living with her, she said, boy, bye.
Oh, no, what do they call him? Hobosexual?
Yes.
Yeah, he was just a hobosexual, Denise.
He wasn't looking for love, girl. He was looking for help.
He was looking for a place to lay his head, sis.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. But I do believe that that's one of the challenges out here as well. I feel like people perpetuate this lifestyle or this representative of themselves when you first start dating, and they try and introduce you to an energy or a vibe that they can't maintain. And then, you 6-7 months into this relationship now, like, who the fuck are you? Like, what is this?
Yeah. I mean, I think that like me, I was like transparent on the first date. I'm like, I'm always very transparent. Like, if this is what it is, this is how I feel about this, and it is what it is. Like, I don't know. I told him too, like, hey, I ain't going with you on that first date because I was like, this dude about to smell like.
I told him that. What did he say?
He started laughing, but he doesn't deal with the bodies essentially directly. So
he's just the owner. He's like, I write the checks.
Yeah, and then too, his funeral home looks like an art gallery, so it's not a standard, which was a plus. Cause I was like, oh, okay, because now I'm thinking creepy funeral home in my head, but it's actually an art gallery, so it's kind of a whole different concept. Really? Yeah, it's pretty dope actually. Sounds dope. Yeah, it's pretty dope. So shout out to Inspired Life. Yeah.
How would you say socioeconomic factors affect dating and relationship experiences among Black people?
I think the challenge is oftentimes Black women are further along at a certain age. Like, if you're at the same age, normally the Black woman is ahead of you, and if you're a man, and then whether it be education, whether it be career and finance, right? So it's like you have to make a decision at that point. Like, is this guy going to be okay with me being this high of a level in the company I'm working for, the money that I make, the houses that I own? I'm trying to tell you that was a challenge.
Do you think that contributes to a lot of the age gaps in relationships, like older men, younger women? Maybe
when you're younger.
What do you mean?
Maybe if you're in your 20s and 30s, like, yes, there could be an age gap. But like, I think, like, for me, like, we're both 44, right? So, and he'll be 45. He's older than me. Okay.
By a couple months.
Hey, listen, it is what it is.
Older is older, baby.
Older is older, okay? So I think at this point in our lives, we're good. We're on the same, we're on the same playing field. I didn't, essentially make more than him or anything. But in my 20s, I was an executive. I made way too much damn money. I traveled. I had homes. I had, always had a nice luxury car. Like, it was a whole different experience dating then. And it was challenging because people, they thought that they couldn't meet my expectations, but I wasn't worried about me. They were worried about me. So
I had that issue, but I was also a lot more egotistical in my 20s.
Oh, I'm sure I was too.
Yeah.
I'm a Sagittarius.
I was
fire sign energy is
baby,
firing.
I had an ego on me, child.
I'm sure I did.
But with each of my children's fathers, I was in a better situation and better position, but I was looking for them to be in a better position, and I made sure that they knew it.
So do you blame yourself then for some of the destruction of those relationships?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Not with my ex-husband, but with the father of my boys, 100%. And I tell her that he was a good man, and he would really
he was a good man,
Savannah. He was. He really was. He was a good man, Savannah. That man, he tried his best. He contributed to the bills. He tried to listen to me. He was Nigerian. Well, he is Nigerian. So he still had like an air about himself, like, oh, I'm gonna be respected. But I broke that poor man down, y'all.
Geez.
I did. By the end of our relationship, he was just like, "Wait, don't you love me?" Like I was like, "I'm so sorry." Like I did him wrong, but I was looking for him to be better in certain aspects, and he was trying, but I'm so used to microwave shit for me because of how I could walk into a room and make some stuff happen and have results within a couple days. I expected that to happen, and that wasn't his process. Now he's a successful engineer. He's making great money, but I wasn't trying to ride that part out. I was like, I need you to figure this out right now, bro. I'm pregnant. Like, come on with it.
So have you relinquished those issues that you had with your ego today, or are you still working on it? I think working on it
I'm working on certain parts of it, because on the other side of it, ego's not always bad, right? I feel like my confidence and the way that I speak to myself helped me get out of a narcissistic marriage.
But that's just like affirming yourself versus having an ego and saying, I am better than you. That's like a different, or I know more than you. Or
I'm not arrogant with it anymore. But as far as like having an ego and hyping myself up, in my head, I am still very much that bitch, right? Like,
as you should. You should always affirm yourself.
But as far as treating other people some type of way because I'm that bitch, I don't do that.
So
anymore.
do you experience times where like maybe you're talking to JD and maybe you're like, okay, I'm gonna wait a second before I respond to this, and then you take that minute, moments, or do you respond, or have you responded sometimes and you responded out of ego, and then you're like, you know what, I'm sorry that I responded.
That's how
that
it
way.
used to be. I think I'm a lot better now with taking time and just telling her I need some time to process that, and then coming back to it. And I mean, you can chime in at any time. And then coming back to it and being like, well, this is how I feel. Because before it was I would just respond and then I'd have to think about it, maybe talk to my mom or something and be like,
What's your sign?
I was a dick. I'm a Leo.
Oh, hella extra, child.
And then I'd be like, oh, that was a dick move, or I shouldn't have said that. And she's like, that didn't feel good. You hurt my feelings, And I'm like, well, I don't understand how I hurt your feelings. It's the truth, And then I talk to my mom, and she's like, yeah, but you didn't have to word it like that. Like, damn. Yeah. So I feel like I've gotten a lot better at saying it not the way that I could receive it, and just let certain things roll off my back. My mom raised me as take the meat and spit out the bones. So if somebody said something, even if it was constructive criticism and I felt that it was rude, I would just take what applied to me and let the rest of it roll off my shoulders, because who the fuck you talking to, right? It was just kind of how it went. And I would say things to people and expect them to just take what applies to you and let the rest roll off the shoulders. But other people have, sensitivities, triggers, and feelings that I didn't have around, especially if your opinion doesn't matter that much to me, right? So I've learned to soften quite a bit.
I definitely. So I think during the time that I transitioned from being in corporate America to going into entrepreneurship, and then the year I became extra successful in entrepreneurship, I saw my ego just fucking go, right? And I was like, I had to catch myself because I could tell by the way I was talking to people, how the way I was dealing with people I was dating. Like, it was kind of reckless, actually.
What was the snap moment?
It was probably, I was dating 3 chicks. I'm polyamorous, by the way. I was dating 3 ladies. And I just knew how I was dealing with them was not nice.
It was pimpish.
It was it was not nice. And then too, I'm like, you know,
it's been all over the world.
And they all were in the same industry. They're all entertainers and not strippers. They all are singers, right? And I was like, and they're crossing each other's paths, and you know, I'm definitely like, you know, I'm tricking. I don't care about tricking. Like, I trick us, whatever. But it was just like,
it ain't tricking if you
I could just tell by the way I said something one time. I don't even remember what time it was. But I'm like, yeah, I need to relax. Because this is not nice. And, you know, so I think that I kind of had a reality check on myself at that time. And then I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to go chill for a while. Was
it a process for you that you had to like continuously work on, or was it just like a?
No, I just turned it off because I just realized you doing the most. But listen, I'm an advocate. I definitely think that you should go to therapy, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody go to therapy for whatever it is, and I think that too, I'm like actively going to therapy. So then I'm talking about it, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, I'm an asshole. Mm-hmm. So I had to like process through those things while I'm, you know, dealing with kind of separating myself from these relationships. So
I think that's kind of what helped me hone in on my ego as well, because it was important to me when I'm really asking for advice or where I was wrong to tell the whole story. I think that's one of the reasons why I really like Monique, because she'll tell the entire story, like the good shit, the bad shit. This is where I fucked up. You know, this is where I think I fucked up. And when I would try to seek advice and I would tell the entire story before they even could tell me where I went wrong, when I'm telling the whole story the way it exactly happened, I could hear where I fucked up, right? Or where I was rude, or where I could have said that differently, or, I could see where that would hurt, you know, somebody's feelings or hurt her feelings or whatnot. And then she would be like, see, you talk to other people and then you figure it out. You listen to what they tell you. And it wouldn't even be what they told me. It would be the fact that I'm telling them what's going on, and while I'm talking through the story, I'm like, oh, I see where I'm tripping. Like, I need to relax. Like you said, I need to relax. Like, oh my God. And my friends and family would just kind of laugh, and they're like, yeah, we're used to that, to you speaking that way, or to you having a mannerism that way, or to you whatever. She's like, so we usually let it roll off our shoulders, and then we'll tell you that you could have said that differently later. She was like, but my mom was the one that was like, oh, I'm proud of you, you know, she was like, I like this girl for you because you actually care enough about her feelings. Because when it was my son's father, I would call her complaining, and I would could still hear where I may have said some shit that I didn't mean, or that I could have worded differently, and I'd still keep rolling. Like, he'll get over it, you know. Whereas now when I talk to her, I'm like, oh shit, that probably hurt her feelings.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's important to like acknowledge, like, when, you know, when things just you do something wrong, you're like, you know what, I'm sorry, I could have definitely said that differently, or hey, you know, when you did this, it made me feel this way. But I was kind of raised like that, so my mom like would be like, how am I doing as your mom? Or, you know, if she did something and maybe it hurt my feelings, I'll say, hey mom, when you did this, it hurt my feelings. And, you know, she would, you know, either correct the behavior, you know, acknowledge my feelings, and, you know, kind of go from there. So
parents, that's a great question to ask your kids. Just a little tidbit,
I ask my nephews that all the time, like, how am I doing as your TT? You know, I ask him. I got a 10 last time.
Hey!
But my singing abilities, though, I only got a 9, which I thought was pretty kind of disrespectful, because he first of all, he put it on a scale. Okay, I'm like, wait, hold on, like I'm talking about my compassionate and emotional part of this, and then you added singing.
He's like,
and I can sing.
Your talent leaves a little to be desired.
Man, I was like,
oh no,
this guy. Yeah.
Man, y'all, that time just flew.
It did. It flew out. It flew out, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation for today. Denise, thank you so much for engaging with us. Mila, we see you. We love when you guys engage with us here in real time. Once again, we did not get through even half of the questions, y'all, that we had for this topic. The discussion got to discuss it. Okay. But definitely tap in with us. Let us know how you guys feel about Black love and media versus your experiences in real life. Well, we haven't decided if we're going to...
Monique and Black love and media, real quick, thoughts? Because Monique's Black love is outside.
I love it for her.
If it works for her.
Yes, I love it for her.
What's wrong with it?
I don't think
anything is wrong with it.
I think that to go, because she's admitted that she had an ego and she thought she was the boss. She had money, this, that, and the other, and she found a man who ain't going for that, you know. And
did you hear what she said about Tiffany Haddish?
Yes.
I mean, the tea was hot and it was served, and she ain't lied.
Is she wrong?
She ain't
Is she wrong?
So
all right then.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if she's
I love
wrong.
how her husband supports her.
As he should. I told my husband about that after I watched it because he hasn't watched it yet.
I love
and
how
I was
he
like,
supports her.
You know, she basically was saying like, why is everybody mad because my husband is standing beside me? And I'm like, yeah, because if some shit was going down, my husband's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like I don't even understand. Like what's the,
I didn't get
trying
it.
to disqualify him as her husband, like as a man, because he's her manager as well. And they're like, she paying his bills. They're in business together.
Together.
They are both successful. They are both loving the way that is working, and he's there for her. She feels supported. You can tell she feels loved and happy.
If it works, why not keep the money in house versus having an outside manager who you don't know is going to have your best interest at heart? You know that he's going to have your best interest at heart because y'all are in the same household.
Right, y'all paying the same bills.
Instead of sending that 15% out to somebody else, why not keep it in the house? Exactly. That doesn't make sense to me why people don't get that part.
Yeah, I think that they have an idea of Black love, and it doesn't look like what Monique and Sydney have. And I think that's ridiculous.
I think they also assume that he ain't doing nothing else outside of what she's doing, which is weird too.
Yeah.
Like they're like, she's the face because she is the entertainer. So they just assume that he's her manager and nothing else. Like this man ain't got his own business and his own shit on the side. Like what y'all got?
I mean, because once she's on big stages, I plan on being there with her all the time. But I'm still gonna be doing my radio shit
as you should.
Yeah.
So, but I love their love.
I'm very supportive. Like I'm a supportive wife. Just naturally, I want to be there to support him, and vice versa. Like he's there to support me. It's just like I don't even understand why you would even be mad at that. It's so weird.
I love it so much for her.
So that's that.
All right, y'all. You guys can catch us back here next Thursday at 4 Pacific time. Yes. Thank you so much, Miss E.
I just want y'all to know the reggae thing is actually in there.
I know. You tell me about it, but I be on the comments.
Oh, okay.
So I don't go back and forth. But yeah, I'm gonna start doing it, y'all.
See, I ain't even know that.
You didn't tell me about it, but I keep it on the comments.
You guys can catch us here next week, Thursday. Thank you guys for tuning in to Laugh Therapy. Love y'all, jokers, and we'll catch y'all next week.
See y'all next week.